Welcome back to the Dagger, everybody. It's Ramsey and Rajan here. We know we've been gone for the last couple of weeks. We've been really busy with school stuff and extracurricular stuff that's been happening in our lives. But we're happy to say we're back. Today we're doing an NBA-focused podcast. We're going to touch on all of the top 6 teams in each conference for the playoffs and give our takes about what is going to go on. And then we're also going to make a bracket. Our first draft bracket will probably come back and make another one in a couple weeks because there's bound to be some crazy upset or some new development, or there might just be nothing and it'll be just like the NCAA playoffs and it's a bunch of 1 seeds in the Final Four. But speaking about that, I want to take this moment to congratulate Ramsey on his Florida Gators NCAA championship win. That's got to feel amazing.
Thank you, Rajan. Yeah, so part of the reason we couldn't do the pod last week was Sunday night, and I wanted to delay it so I could talk about March Madness because my Gators had made it to the Final Four. And Monday night, they were in the championship against Houston, and we had the privilege at UF here to get to watch it in the O'Connell Center, the basketball stadium, which you came and watched a game here with us. And it was packed to the brim with all students instead of, normally the students get to sit on half of the stadium wherever they want. So it was so loud. But yeah, we got to watch it on the Jumbotron in the middle, and it was unbelievable. And I'm just so incredibly grateful and proud of this school. And I just think back to when I didn't know where I was going in high school and I was trying to decide between some of my options for college. I am so glad I chose UF. I know you're happy at Miami, Rajan, and I'm sure I'd be happy at another school I would have chose. But I've made so many great memories here, and that might go down as the best memory I make in my college career. Because you have to be really lucky to witness a championship like that, a basketball or football one, while you're a student. You'll probably witness Miami win things when you're gone if they don't immediately improve, because they always will be, but they'll always be competitive. But just for reference, by the way, so the Gators' path to the national championship as a 1 seed, right? They played Norfolk State, they played UConn, they played Maryland, they played Texas Tech, they played Auburn, they played Houston. That was an incredibly difficult path that they had to go through. A ton of really competitive, highly ranked, highly analytically impressive teams. And in 4 of those 6 games, all besides Norfolk State and Maryland, at one point they were losing by a huge, huge percent. And so I'm just going to take you through a few games just to highlight how impressive their comebacks were. So in their game against UConn, at one point in the game, UConn had a 77% chance to win. And this is when UConn was leading by 6 or 7 in the second half. And the Gators came back and won. And I was a little nervous, but I was pretty optimistic about that one. So that was a really good comeback. Texas Tech. Texas Tech was probably the craziest individual comeback. We were down by 9 with about 2.5 minutes to go. And according to ESPN, they gave the Red Raiders a 96% chance of winning, and we came back. Then the next week against Auburn, we also were losing very, very close down to the wire. Want to know what percentage they gave Auburn to win? They gave Auburn an 85% chance to win at the beginning of the second half. And we were able to come back. It wasn't really that much down to the wire. It was really the first half I was thinking down to the wire. And then in the beginning of the second half, they blew it open, and then we came all the way back. And then Houston, which was honestly might go down as my favorite sports memory of all time, tied or slightly below when witnessing the Celtics win a championship last year. And against the Houston Cougars, we were losing most of the second half. We barely led the entire game. We literally led.
Oh, I saw a stat about that. You guys only led for 63 seconds the whole game. Something crazy like
in a
that.
40-minute game, we were leading for a minute and we won. You got to know how that feels as a student. We literally watched our team that ESPN was actively giving us a 7% chance of winning, and we won. And so if you multiply those probabilities, dude, the odds of us winning was just astronomically low. But we overcame all of those. Walter Clayton Jr. improved his draft stock so much. That man, he's going to go down as a fan favorite for all March Madness fans, like a Kemba Walker,
absolutely,
Carson Edwards type guy. But for the Gators, he will always mean something super, super special to us. Oh my goodness,
That
that man.
clutch factor, it brings so much draft stock too. Like knowing that that
Yes.
guy can be because a lot of rookies I feel like are not good in the clutch, man. They like
No.
they'll choke up and they'll get nervous and they'll be fine all game, and then when that happens, it's like a wake up moment, an aha moment of like, okay, I'm not ready for this league yet, or like not completely ready, but he's
Right.
proven multiple games in a row. Like that clip that you sent me of him like catching the ball around the free throw line, then dribbling away, and then turning around, fade away, three. And it just I'm like, how? That he didn't even have a lot of time to look at the basket. He had a defender in his face. It's ridiculous how impressive that whole run was.
That clutch gene is incredible, and people see a lot of Curry and Dame in his game, which is just really high praise. Jamal Murray is a comp that comes across a lot, which, by the way, part of me thinks is only because he looks like Jamal Murray, like just straight up, the man looks like him. But
Was it because
he
of light
does play
skin?
really similarly to him. Um, Walt, though, he did average 22 and a half points in the tournament and 3 assists and 43% from three, and he had multiple 30-point games. I mean, yeah, he's gonna be drafted in the first round. I hope he goes to our Magic because the Magic really need like
We need a guard.
a ball dominant, clutch 3-point shooting guard. And I don't know if Clayton will be that good in the NBA immediately. Odds are he won't. But if he develops best case into a Peyton Pritchard type guy, who is exactly what the Magic need, and also he is all of Florida rooting for him, it would just be a perfect match.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Our hiatus is also because I had a ton of stuff happening here at Miami. The University of Miami was celebrating its centennial anniversary this past week.
mm,
We were founded on April 8th, 1925. So we had a ton of concerts. We brought in a ton of guest artists. Pat Metheny, who's a 20-time Grammy winner. He's the only person ever to win a Grammy in 10 different categories. He came in to play. We had a ton of different people come to play. So I got asked to play on that. It's not supposed to be an undergraduate thing, but they asked me to do it, and so I did it. So I was doing that all week last week, and then um, I also got contracted to play in a live La La Land show, live in concert. So basically, it was downtown in Miami, and it was in like a big concert hall. The movie projector was like on the screen, uh, and it was a lot. We were in the live orchestra that played the score to it, and the guy that wrote the score was actually our conductor. So it was a super cool experience. But I was like rehearsing for upwards of 6 hours a day for the like most of last week. So we didn't really have much time to record the podcast, but we're here now and we're able to do it. We're recording this right before the play-in tournament starts. So just in time to get some analysis out, and hopefully you guys can listen on your car ride tomorrow morning or whenever you get a chance to hear what we have to say. So I think we got to start um, about each team's floors and ceilings, their
right.
goods and their bads.
We want to just before we get into the bracket, I just want to give an overview of the NBA playoffs. Honestly, just kind of explain it to some of our fans who maybe aren't big NBA fans. Like, what should they be looking for as they watch these playoffs and get into these teams? Um, which players do I think, or maybe non-players, just like elements of the team, are a big X factor? And then generally, what are the floors and ceilings? And so, we're gonna try to spend a minute per team, right? If we could stick to
I
that,
have a
Roger.
timer right here. I'm gonna just hit you with a team, and we're gonna talk about it real quick. What's that show that they do it on? You just said it to me.
I think it's around the horn.
Around the
No,
Horn.
no, no,
This is
no, no, no.
around.
It's pardon the interruption. Yeah, PTI. I just remembered.
Okay, this is Pardon the Dagger, and yeah, we're about to hit this. Let's do it. Ready?
Let's
Three,
do it.
2, 1. Okay, Cavs.
All right. The Cleveland Cavaliers are obviously the one seed in the Eastern Conference. They're an incredibly constructed team with Donovan Mitchell, who has real playoff experience, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen, who are all extremely reliable in the season. And we haven't seen a lot of what we've seen of them in the playoffs, but we're really excited about their future. Evan Mobley is an incredible defender. Jared Allen is too. I mean, their team overall is just an amazing defense, and they have guys like DeAndre Hunter and dudes off the bench who can immediately come and contribute and win games for them. If you have a guy like Ty Jerome, who might win Sixth Man of the Year, hitting like 8 threes in a game, or Max Struess or Sam Merrill, like the team is built to go far in the playoffs. So For their X factor, I would say just honestly look at Evan Mobley. I think that their team is just so good that you can really pick any of their best players, and I think that their ceiling is obviously the championship. But when you want to talk about how much experience matters, this team frankly does not really have the experience that you might expect out of a contender, and so I don't know if their coaching and their raw talent can take them as far as Cavs fans are hoping. But I would say floor, absolute minimum floor, second round. If they lose to the Pacers in a crazy way, right? But ceiling is championship.
Absolutely. Okay, boom. Let's talk about the Celtics next. And I feel like this is where the experience thing really like we determine if it really matters because by and large the Cavs are like constructed so similar to the Celtics, but I almost feel like they're constructed better. But I'm
Yeah,
inclined to think that the Celtics are gonna do good, right? Because I mean they just have the DNA of winning.
yeah. So it depends on who you ask, right? You're asking me, and look at what shirt I'm wearing. I am a diehard Celtics fan, and the Celtics did win the championship last year. Trivia question: do you remember the last team that won back-to-back championships?
The Warriors.
Yes. So it's been a while since KD was
Oh,
around, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Like seriously. Yeah.
every single year there's been a new non-repeating champion. And so, frankly, it's just very hard with all the talent in the NBA to repeat. And, some teams just want it more. But the Celtics have not gotten worse at all since last year. I think that many of our players have taken big steps up. I think we can expect to see more out of Tatum, who is hoping to prove himself after a summer full of disrespect when he didn't get the Finals MVP or the East MVP, and he didn't get much praise in the Olympics. And meanwhile, Jaylen Brown wasn't even invited to the Olympics. As for specific players, by the way, watch out for Porzingis. I think he's the most important player on the Celtics by far. I think that he brings another element of interior defense and that 3-point shooting that you can't really defend. And I think that he's going to be a huge problem in matchups where he's healthy, and he has been healthy for a long time recently. So I'm really optimistic about that. But also Jaylen
Awesome.
Brown. I just want to say there was a recent report. Jaylen Brown received pain management injections in his troublesome right knee this past week. Like, it's pretty scary to receive injections, before the playoffs where you're going to need to be um, re- requiring a big load on, like, putting a lot of pressure on your knee day in and day out and everything. But, like, I have a lot of optimism for JB. I hope he's healthy. But with Porzingis and everything, ceiling, championship, floor, conference finals.
Absolutely. There's no way they go out before then. I don't see it happening.
Me
Okay.
neither.
Let's talk about the Knicks.
Okay, so the Knicks are rougher, and I feel bad for Knicks fans listening to this because, as some Knicks fans might remember, in our first ever episode, I was kind of dogging them the entire time, and I was like, these guys are not contenders. They have not won a game to a top team literally all season, a top East team that is. They couldn't beat the Celtics or Cavs. They couldn't beat the Lakers or Thunder. Their depth is horrendous. They have guys like McBride and Mitch Robb, and by the way, they're gonna need Robinson and Cat, the double big lineup, because that lineup has been very reliable recently, and we're really happy to see that Mitchell Robinson is healthy. And Jalen Brunson, really good playoff performer. I do think that he's gonna have some games where he drops 40 against the Pistons, and it's gonna be a really fun series. And I think that Hart and Anunoby and Mikhail are going to do everything that they need to. But I do not think this team can win a championship. I think their depth just isn't good enough. I think if in the case of an injury, the Knicks are pretty immediately screwed, and there's no evidence to suggest there will be an injury. But Tom Thibodeau playoff injuries have happened before, and so um, I'm hopeful about the Knicks. We'll talk about them more when we analyze the Pistons series. But I'm going to give a ceiling of conference finals and a floor. Um,
They could be first round exits.
Yeah,
They
I'll just say
could be.
first round exits. Yeah, just at worst case.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, let's do the Pacers. The Pacers are also like another one of those weird wild card teams that could totally go out in the first round, but also like I could see them getting to the conference finals against the Celtics or the Cavs.
Yeah,
They're peaking right now, and it's like it's amazing to see.
yeah. So they are peaking at the perfect time. We knew the Pacers made the conference finals last year and played the Celtics, right? And they were the 6th seed. They beat the Bucks and the Knicks on the way there. Um, we know how good the Pacers team is now. They're even better than they were last playoffs. Obviously, everybody thinks about how great their offense is, which runs through Halliburton. But I want to give a lot of credit to the defense. I think Andrew Nemhard might be on the all defensive team this year. He probably won't make the cut, but if he does, that'd be incredible. But like Siakam and former Celtic Aaron Naismith are really great wing defenders too. And so in general, they're built really well for the playoffs. I don't really think they have that superstar talent to go super deep. So I'm gonna give them the conference finals ceiling because I know several sources that think they can beat the Cavs based on pure, matchup disparity and experience in the playoffs most recently. I mean, the Pacers made it farther last year than the Cavs. It's really the only experience factor, but like they could be a matchup nightmare for the Cavs depending on how the Pacers choose to run their offense or what kind of small ball lineups they play. But floor is definitely first round exits because that series is going to be a little tough.
Yeah. Okay. So for the Bucks, I want to let you talk about this, but I just wanted to say a couple things.
Yeah.
Last year we saw what happened. I mean, they got bounced pretty quickly, and that was with Dame playing, right? Like that
Yes.
was so. I don't see a world where they play Dame in this playoff series because of what we know about these blood clots with Chris Bosh and like the history of like generally like GMs and coaches will just have those players sit. They don't want to have like the
Yeah.
blood on their
I
hands
think it's
figuratively.
so much of a risk. I do not think it would be a good idea for Dame to come in, and I think that he could just receive blame, if he performs poorly because he's trying to save himself.
Right. And to that point, it's like they got bounced that badly last time. I mean, the Bucks don't have any incredible stats in terms of its like team efficiency, team ratings, and offense or defense.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have a top 5 player in the league in Giannis, but I don't even think it matters that much. I don't think he'll be able to have that big of an impact when his like 1-2 punch guy is sidelined. And now they don't have the Chris Middleton they had last year. They have what's the guy's name that they traded him for?
Well,
Kuzma?
they have
Kyle?
Kuzma, but Kuzma's a
I don't know.
non-factor,
Yeah.
almost. So I think that in order for the Bucks to win any series, Giannis is going to have one of the highest usage rates we've ever seen in NBA history. This is assuming Dame doesn't play, by the way. And there was a report by Shams that he could. I don't see it at all. It doesn't make sense. Um, Fortunately for them, Kevin Porter Jr., not a guy I like personally, but he has been playing very well recently. If you just look at his last 10 games, he's been averaging 16 points and 5 assists and 5 rebounds, all higher than his entire season beforehand. And, we could have Gary Trent or Brooke Lopez or Torian Prince all stepping up to the plate. And I think that if the Bucks are going to win this series, they need a really, really high, consistent stat line from Giannis. Like, this man needs to be averaging 35 a game, putting up 10 boards, 10 assists. But they also need every game to have some sort of X factor like another guy. And if it's not Dame, it's going to be really hard to ask for that from the rest of your lineup. So obviously, I'm going to pick the Pacers in that series, but Bucks ceiling, I don't see them beating the Cavs or Celtics at all. So I'm going ceiling second round, floor first round.
We're on the same page. I'm completely agreeing with you. Okay, let's do the Pistons.
Sorry about that. So the Pistons are obviously a super, super fun team. They're a young, scrappy, exciting roster full of, just a bunch of these young, talented dudes. You look at Asar Thompson, you look at Jalen Duran. They have the roster veterans that are Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, who's the best 3-point shooter in the league, right next to Anthony Edwards and Steph Curry, and Tobias Harris. These guys are all playing really important minutes. And, of course, Cade Cunningham. And so we don't know what to expect of Cade in the playoffs. I am the type of person who thinks that Cade is going to do really well. I think he's going to step up to the plate and shine in the big moments like he has at different times this season against big teams. And obviously, they need a bit more out of Duran than they've gotten recently. And technically, right now, if you look recently, they're on a bit of a skid. Like in the last 15 games, their offensive efficiency is perfectly average, and their defense is just a bit above average. So I don't know. I honestly, though, I really like the team. I think the Knicks Pistons is going to be a really fun matchup. So I'm looking forward to that series. I think that would just be might be the most entertaining in the East. Yeah, for sure. But
Yeah, yeah.
so ceiling though, they're not making it past the Cavs or Celtics, but they can make it past the Knicks. So I'm going
Hmm.
second first again.
Perfect. Let's do the Magic. our
Yeah.
Orlando Magic.
Yeah,
I
just
feel like this. Okay, I mean, this could be like. I mean, it's more than likely that there'll be a first round exit and they'll just get fleeced by probably the Celtics. That would be a pretty good first round matchup. But I have like a weird feeling, and this might just be Orlando pride, but like it'd be kind of cool to see the Magic like hit a crazy run and like they're definitely not built for it, and this would be like going against all the odds, all the metrics, all the stats. But like I'm almost like I feel like Paolo has that like the clutch thing and like the ability. I mean, we already know he can be the number one guy on a team. We know that
yeah.
he can be like the guy, like an Anthony Edwards type of guy, and they have Franz as well. And I almost want to like if I had to make an upset pick that's like crazy, I would totally pick the Magic. But I don't think they're going to get past the first round. There's like that. It's very unlikely.
I don't think that I'm a Magic fan too, I promise. And even regardless of whether they're playing the Celtics or not, I s- I don't see this team making any noise in the playoffs. Like obviously last year when they were the 5 seed, they had a really fun series against the Cavs which they lost in 7, but Paulo did so well for his first playoff series. He put the world on notice. Franz, however, he completely, completely underperformed. I forget what he scored in the last game, but it was something incredibly disappointing. And so Franz has the goal to remind the league about how good he is and why he deserves that paycheck that we're paying him. But the Magic, this has just been a disappointing season all season. They have a really bad offense, really bad 3-point
Yeah,
shooting. They cannot beat this Cavs or Celtics with their play styles that they have. So they don't have a ceiling, to be honest. This team is a
yeah.
first round exit.
And I know we have the Hawks listed here, but we don't even need to talk about them. That they're not going to make it past the first round.
Yeah,
So
I'll just say
sorry to
the
Trae Young
Hawks,
fans.
Bulls, and Heat. You know, shout out to all these teams. The play in yearly in
Merchants every freaking year.
play in merchants. Obviously the play in games will be fun tomorrow night. We get to watch Magic versus Magic versus Hawks. But there's nothing to talk about with these teams really.
Yeah.
They're all losing.
Shout out to my friend Cam. I know you're a Heat or a Hawks fan. I know you're listening to this. Your team is going to go down
There
tomorrow
you go.
night, and we're going to laugh. All right, let's do the West. Um, I think everyone knows what we're going to say about the Thunder, but I think we should talk about it because it's so hard to like. There are teams that have made deep playoff runs, like the early Warriors, like without that much playoff experience, and they were shaping up to be and like we're playing like the Thunder that are happening right now. But at the same time, we keep using this argument of like experience wins championships, and like we should be inclined to trust the experience and the people that can get it done year in and year out. So, what do you think?
I um I do not think that the Thunder's lack of experience is going to be that big of a problem, to be honest. I think that they're so good. Like they're so unbelievably good and so deep with their talent of defenders. Like they could literally have like 4 guys on the all defensive team if we had like 3 all defensive teams,
Yeah,
you know. Um
yeah.
I think that after watching Jokic in the playoffs last year, they literally went and said, Holmgren, um, you're amazing, but you're not going to be able to stop him. We're going to go get Isaiah Hartenstein. We're going to have a counterattack to every possible, enemy that we face in the playoffs. Like the
Right.
Thunder won 68 games this year, and I don't know if they officially did, but they were on pace to have the best net point margin in NBA history. And if you look in recent years, at the teams with the best point margin by a wide margin, um, they both went and won the championship. Those last 2 teams were the 17 Warriors, who cruised to a championship with KD, and then the Celtics last year, who only lost 3 games en route. And so the Thunder, we could look back on this and be like, wow, they, they nearly swept their way to the championship. And Shea, he's gonna get MVP, and it's gonna be really fun to watch this team in the playoffs. But X Factor, I don't really got much. I just think the entire team is gonna be so good. So we'll see how they play. I'm sure Shea will light it up. We'll see how many times the man goes to the free throw line. Um, Ceiling finals, but with that said, This is crazy to say, but if they play the Warriors in the first round, if the Warriors lose to the Grizzlies and they play them in first round exit is the floor. And I don't know.
I agree.
That's a take of mine. I don't know if you agree.
I think I would probably go to say second round only because of Hardenstein being there. It makes Jackson Hayes become a starter for the Warriors, and no one wants to see that. Because Jackson Hayes, they just don't run as efficiently as we know Golden State to run when he's on the floor to start out with. When Draymond's in the five, they can do the small ball thing. They can
I
let
don't
Jimmy heat up.
wait. I don't think you mean Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes is on the Lakers. I think you're thinking of someone else.
Who am I thinking of? Who's the Warriors center? The tall dude, the young guy.
Jackson Davis.
Oh my God, Jackson. Wait, guys, this is a crisis.
Okay, Jackson Hayes versus Trace Jackson Davis. You're confusing them.
Okay, I'm confusing the Jacksons.
Okay, this guy he knows what he's talking about. He just is
Yeah.
delusional.
Well, my point is they play a lot better when they have Draymond running stuff as the center. It frees all of their off ball stuff up, and now you have four positions running around trying to get Steph open instead of just three. So I mean, if they play the the Warriors, it's hard because Hardenstein is so big. It's like what you said. They have both counters. They can play small ball and run the floor with Chet, and then they can play, just feed it to Hardenstein in the post. He's a great post scorer, and he can pass. Yeah, I think I would say probably second round exits is like the lowest they would be, but
Okay,
I mean, this is a championship favorite easily.
I completely
Also,
respect that.
we got to figure out a way for me to look at you and give you the 1 minute cutoff because we're going over on all of these. So that's okay. We have a lot to talk about, but I'm gonna
Okay,
try and do a little dance every single time it gets to a minute, and then you know to stop.
will do. Hit me next.
Okay, I'm gonna hit the whoa. Okay, Rockets, 3, 2, 1, go.
Rockets, really fun team. They're a little bit similar to the Pistons, but they had an even better regular season. They're coached by former Celtics coach Ime Udoka, who went to the finals and has experience. Um, and they're a really young team. The problem is that they don't have much experience. Only two of the players in their starting five, which is Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks, have actually played in a playoff series. And with guys like Amen and Jalen Green and Alperen Şengün, who are just starting out in the playoffs, it's going to be rough when they're asked to face against these teams that have so much experience. Like the Warriors series for them is going to be a pretty tough one because they're really good. They're very good. They're such a good defensive team, but they don't necessarily have someone down in the clutch who they can rely on to get a bucket. It might end up being Jalen Green or Van Vliet, or maybe they'll put the ball in Amen's hands. But it's going to be hard because we don't know the play-in results yet. If we just roll with the Warriors, that the Rockets potentially are first round floor, but ceiling, I will give them the respect of the conference finals because of how good of a team they are. I don't know if it's going to happen though.
A Rockets Thunder finals in the West would feed families. That'd be amazing.
It
Um,
would, but I think very few people are going to actually pick that.
yeah. Hey, no promises. I might actually pick that. Okay, let's do Lakers.
LeBron. Yeah, there's not a ton to. Okay, actually, there's a lot to say about the Lakers. With all due respect, Luka Doncic, this is his first playoffs with the Lakers, and he and LeBron are just so good. And I don't need to sit here and tell you that a playoff team with LeBron James and Luka Doncic trading places and playing together at in the end of the games, and Anthony, what the hell, Austin Reeves, who has been playing so incredibly well.
Yeah.
Of late, he's been averaging in the 20 PPGs and closing down the clutch. He's really a clutch performer. And Rui, who's become such a reliable guy for them, and Jackson Hayes, as you mentioned, he'll be brought out. Now, the question for them is, can they rely on these small ball lineups to, neutralize teams that have bigger guys? Like in that one game that they had against the Nuggets back in, I think, February, they played a really great defense and they shut down Jokic. He still had a triple double, but okay, thank you. I do think that the Lakers' size could cost them, so I think they could lose to the T Wolves. I'll go first round exit minimum. This was so interesting about the West, but ceiling, I'm not
I
gonna.
think conference finals, right?
I'm gonna say finals. I think they could.
Wow.
I think they can make the finals. I
Oh
don't think.
wait, yes, 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 yes.
I don't know if they can win, but and some might pick them to win. But I would just say ceiling make the finals.
Okay, so then let's do the Nuggets. This is a team that I almost well, okay, so I saw a report saying that the Nuggets morale, someone was inside the locker room and the morale is like great now that they fired Michael Malone and their GM. I wonder if that would somehow give them the boost that they need, but it's also so late in the season that I don't know. I'm inclined to pick upset against the Nuggets wherever I can. I don't know what you think, but I don't trust this team at all in terms of playoff performance. The same way I trust the rest of the West.
But you know who you should trust? Nikola Jokic, who is the undisputed best player in the NBA, who will always be the best player on the court in every series he plays. But yeah, they do have an interim head coach, David Adelman, and there's actually a clip recently today or yesterday of him just like giving Jokic the whiteboard and telling him to write on it. And you know what? If he wants to be their coach during the playoffs, I do think the Nuggets can do good things. I think their ceiling is the conference finals. I think their X factor is probably a guy like Jamal Murray, who is such a clutch playoff performer, but they really need to rely on him. But the depth is not where it needs to be, and I think that this is just going to be one of those years where the Nuggets like really underperform, and then they make a change in the offseason. So I'm going to go floor first round exit.
Gotcha. Let's do the Clippers, the hottest team in the league. I'm big on these guys. I'm definitely picking them over the Nuggets in the first round easily, 100%.
And I am too. They are incredibly hot, as you say. Last 15 games, number 1 offense, number 3 defense. And look, before the season, if you and I had this podcast and we were making pre-standings, I mean, I just did this myself just for fun. I did not have the Clippers making the top 10 because I thought they would be that bad. I thought that Kawhi
Yeah,
wouldn't be there. I thought that the Harden experiment alone in LA, like they don't have enough guys to help. Boy,
no.
was I wrong. Chris Dunn, he's going to be on a all defensive team. Derek Jones Jr., Kawhi Leonard, who as of late has been doing extremely well. I'll find the recent stats for him. But the biggest, most impressive person by far, Ivica Zubac. And we all know this. And there's a chance that Zubac actually makes all NBA because of how good of a center he's been. Besides, um, Kat and Jokic. He's the third best center in the NBA, and he is such a good matchup, and he's such a huge part of their offense. And when you watch Clippers games, you see how important he is and how everything runs through him. But with Kawhi, Zubac, and Harden, who are all playing really well for this time in their careers, expect to see the Clippers make some noise and bust some brackets for people that just pick the Nuggets blindly because of Jokic.
How cool would it be to see the Clippers against the Timberwolves? I mean the Lakers. Like if we got an LA versus LA matchup, that
Battle
would
of
be
LA would be really
awesome.
exciting, and that is a
Yeah.
quite possible. Well, actually, no, it could only happen in the conference finals, so honestly, not super likely though.
Okay, let's talk about the Timberwolves because these guys I feel like are like the dark horse of the West to just like go on a tear and Ant drops like 35 every single game and just takes over.
Yeah, obviously, I love the Timberwolves. I think that a lot of their playoff success is going to rely on Gobert, and we all know how their hopes ended last year with Luka hitting that step back three over Gobert. I don't remember if that was the last game, but it was one of the daggers, if you will. And yet again, Gobert is matched up against Luka in the first playoff series. He cannot escape him, and even after the man switches teams. And so I do think that the Timberwolves have improved a lot offensively recently. They're much more aggressive on the glass if you look at their offensive rebounding numbers. Um, and that all honestly applies to Gobert. Like I'm just kind of speaking about the entire team through him. But I do think that the lack of size besides Gobert, if they're not playing him, because he used to be unplayable at the end of games, that could be a problem against small ball teams. And if the
Yeah.
Lakers, again, can use that to their advantage, they quite possibly could. And so also Julius Randle is a terrible playoff performer. So is he really going to step up to the plate? We'll see. I think Anthony Edwards will, but ceiling conference semis, maybe conference finals, and then floor first round exit.
Absolutely first round. It's a possibility, but I'm definitely gonna say conference finals as like a ceiling. I can see this happening, but
Okay.
it's hard to say. Okay, let's do the Warriors. I'm like I'm struggling to figure out what I want for this team or like what I think about this team because they have all of these like great pieces and they have all of this like amazing like infrastructure built around Draymond and Steph and uh, Jimmy Butler.
Mhm.
But it's like what happens when they go against a team that can really run and then a big center? Like I don't know what they're gonna do. I know that we know that they're a great defensive team, but offensively, how do you score on that? I don't see. I don't know if I see an avenue where the Warriors really have an in if they get like to me they're really matchup based. Like if they get a good matchup in the first round, we're talking about the Rockets, maybe I don't know, like a Rockets adjacent team, like or like the Lakers. Like we could see a potential like Warriors upset type thing. But against like the likes of a Thunder, or even if they play like Minnesota and like this, I mean, they'd only be able to play them in like the finals. But you get what I'm saying. It's so matchup dependent with them that it's hard for me to pick them.
I think that the Warriors are easily the most matchup dependent team, and I fortunately for them, they have the most experience of any team in the playoffs, right? Because Draymond and Steph and Jimmy have all been around the block before. The Jimmy experiment is just starting, but at the end of the day, he and Steph are known to be extremely well performing playoff players, and Pajimski has been doing so much better recently. In the last 10 games, he's averaging 18 points and 6 rebounds, up from 11 points for the previous games. So I have 1 second.
You have hope for the Warriors.
I do have hope for the Warriors, and I think that their coaching and their playoff experience might just take them over the edge against, like when they played the Celtics in the finals years ago. I just think that um, that you need to give a lot more credit for teams that have been here before, and Steph is really determined, and their team is well constructed. And yeah, obviously, I don't know about the whole size thing, but I know that Draymond is such a good defender and that they can game plan really well for different opponents. And so, ceiling. Okay, I haven't given ceiling like championship to enough teams. I only gave it to the Cavs, Celtics, and Thunder. I think the Warriors are ceiling is finals, which is really far for a play-in team, but you never know. And then the floor would definitely be first round exit. But
Yeah. Let's do the Grizzlies real quick. I don't have much to say. John needs to stop throwing grenades at the crowd and start actually like
it's tough though.
playing some defense. What would be tougher is if he threw in the crowd and then wherever he did it, they just go boom all at once, all everyone together. That would actually be kind of cool. But
That'd be
regardless,
fun.
they they have problems there. The worst part is that I don't think they can get any value for Ja if they were to trade him. Like if you're a GM of like a mid team, let's say you're like the GM of like a Sacramento Kings like team or like a Bulls, like play in maybe like have some pieces with the right, if they get the capture the flag thing going, they might be able to make a run next year. Um no one's gonna want Ja. No one wants
Yeah,
him. And his own I feel like his own team's chemistry is not working because of him. Like he is the
yeah.
problem.
The chemistry is in the tank right now for sure. I think that if after this playoffs, which inevitably won't work, you're gonna see one of Triple J, Ja, or Desmond Bain get shipped out. Probably Bain. Um, they're all good players, but that just is not enough for a championship core, even after being the
Yeah.
2 seed for all these years. But
Yeah,
yeah, the
if
Grizzlies
you
won't
had
make any
told me
noise.
2 3 years ago that they would not even we'd be here, they fired their coach, Jaws throwing grenades. One of them is probably going to get shipped out. I mean, it's more than likely that it'll happen. It's
Yeah.
like what
So
happened? They were the 2 seed for so many years. I mean,
these
I say
guys
so
are
many, but it's like consistency.
these guys are first round or play in exits, and same with the Kings and the Mavs, who won't really make any noise. So yeah,
We're gonna take a quick break, and then we're gonna hit this bracket, and we'll be done very quickly tonight. We're gonna try and keep this quick pace up because we tend to spend a lot of time talking, which is a good thing. But
that we do.
yeah, maybe 2.5 hours is too long. Just a thought. Okay, we'll see you guys in a little bit.
Be right back.
Welcome back, everybody. We're about to make the bracket. We're starting in the West. We're starting Thunder versus like the potential 8 seed. The way that our pick'ems is doing it is basically It's whatever the play-in team could potentially be. We're picking either the Thunder or a potential play-in team. So for this matchup, it's the Warriors, Grizzlies, Kings, or Mavs. So it's one of them. I'm inclined to pick the Thunder here, but I feel like if it was for like if it was the Warriors, I would almost pick the Warriors. But just because we don't know if it's going to be them, I'm inclined to say Thunder in 5. That's what I have right now.
I think even if it was the Warriors, you need to pick the Thunder. It's just way, way safer. I will do Thunder in 5 as well. I don't. Well, honestly, I might just want to pick Thunder in 4. Like this team is so dominant. Um, and I think that they're gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Thunder in 4. I think they're gonna come out and prove to the world that they're not to be messed with. So that's what I'm picking.
Okay, I'm sticking with 5. That's all right. Okay,
Cool.
Nuggets Clippers. I don't know
Okay.
how. Oh, you go ahead.
So do you want to guess, Rajan, what the money line odds are for Nuggets Clippers?
Sure. I'm guessing that I'm guessing that because 60% of fans or so are picking the Nuggets to win, that I'm getting like minus 140 for the Nuggets, minus 150 maybe.
It's actually a little closer than that. Minus 120.
Okay, that's respectable. I'm still taking the Clippers though, right? I mean, maybe Clippers in 6. This is
Yeah.
such a hot team, right? There's no way that I don't understand how these fans are picking the
I
Nuggets.
love Nikola Jokic. You and I both do, but at the end of the day, the Clippers are playing such incredible basketball right now, and I don't see how you can just overlook that and pick a team
Yeah,
that frankly has a lot of glaring issues. The chemistry might not be there, the injury might not be there, the depth isn't there. Like the Clippers can neutralize the Jokic game plan, I think, pretty well. So I'm picking the Clippers.
absolutely.
Um Honestly, maybe 7. What do you think?
Okay, wait, hold on. Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see 7. Yeah, I'll go with 7. That's fine.
That'd be really fun.
It'll definitely be a good matchup. It could definitely be also be Clippers in 4. It could be like a crazy shocker. Okay, maybe I'm reaching a little bit, but
You're
I
always right though. There's always one series that's just a sweep that everybody gave way more credit to a team. It could be that.
yeah, yeah. Okay, Lakers Wolves. This can I guess the odds on this one?
Go ahead.
I want to say it's based on how skewed the fan base picking is. It's probably like Lakers minus 150. If the other one was 120, this is probably 150.
It's even more of a blowout. I'll give you one more
10
miss.
180?
196, 200.
Wow. So
Minus
they're
200.
saying, geez.
So
So
they're saying the
it's
Lakers, like, dead even approximately have about a, I guess they'd have like a, 70-ish% chance to win. The Timberwolves are plus money. They're about plus 160. Um, Again,
geez,
by the way,
man.
we don't endorse sports betting, but it's pretty fun to use these FanDuel odds to
Oh
think
yeah, we do
about
not condone
NBA
sports
games.
betting. Please call the hotline if you feel like you're addicted. Don't do what I did and try and do underdog. It does not work. I made $5 and
Please
got
stop
out.
listening to our gambling advice. Um, yeah, so this is honestly going to be a great series, and I think most people are already calling this is going to be the best series in the first round, and it's going to be really exciting to watch the Timberwolves' talent and their guard or their wings like Alexander Walker and McDaniels. How do they try to attack the guys like Luca and LeBron? And also we're going to see Ant versus Luca quite a bit. Um, but I'm picking the Lakers.
Dumping the Lakers, and I'm saying Lakers. Well, do we have to say Lakers in 5? Do we have to do it? I think it's Lakers in 6. I think that's my
I
inclination.
think it's Lakers in 6. Yeah, that's better.
Okay.
Okay,
Um.
this one is really tough.
Yeah. Because if it's the Grizzlies, we have to pick the Rockets.
Yeah, if it's the Grizzlies, I'm picking Rockets in 5. And if it's the
Yeah.
Warriors, I think it's either like Warriors in 6 or Rockets in like 7.
Yeah. Either way, it's going to game 6 or 7. If it's the Rockets versus the Warriors, these are two polar opposite teams, and that's going to be just like the best matchup possible. I mean, Lakers T Wolves has to be one of the most exciting ones in the whole tournament. But I would say Rockets against potentially Warriors would probably be number 2 or number 3. Like that
Yeah,
is really cool to see.
that's completely
Okay.
fair as well. So I think we should operate under the assumption. Okay, actually, this is a completely separate game. But do you want to guess the line, the spread for the Grizzlies Warriors game, which is tomorrow?
The spread.
Yeah.
Okay. Warriors by 7.5.
Wow, great job. It's just by 7.
Okay. Okay.
But
Nice.
yeah, when you hear that and you also see that they have a money line of minus 320, I think it's really safe to just pick the Warriors and then work with that assumption. Okay.
Okay. Well, then if that's the case, then I say Warriors in like 7. Like this
Really?
goes this goes all the way.
Okay. Look,
Maybe 6. Maybe,
dude, as much as I love the Rockets, and as much as I'm gonna see people picking the Rockets and saying like, guys, don't underestimate this team just because they're young, I'm not gonna underestimate the Warriors because they're old. So, yeah.
that was nice. You should be a language arts teacher.
Thank
Shout
you,
out
my
to
man.
Mr. Brousseau. Okay. So
And
6 or
Mrs.
7 and Mrs.
6-7.
6. Yeah, 6, 7. 6, 7. I'm not sure.
I'm feeling
6, 7.
Warriors in. Honestly, I always pick so many sevens because I just feel uneven about it. But I'm going Warriors in 6.
Yeah, just like how when they beat the Celtics. It's perfect.
Shut
Okay, do
up.
you want to do the rest of the West now, or do you want to do the East?
Let's do the East. Let's go
Okay,
round by round.
all right. Okay, this is a pretty easy one. Cavs in probably 5 against whoever that. Excuse my language. Crappy Magic, Hawks, Bulls, Heat, Merchants. I saw something today about how like the Heat always play the Bulls, and that's like a rivalry game now. It's like it's a play-in rivalry.
Yeah, that no one cares about.
So unserious. We got to
Um,
pick the Cavs in 5, right?
Not gonna lie, dude. If they're playing like the Hawks, I'm going Cavs in 4. I don't see it at all.
Okay, so but then do you think that? I think the Magic are going to beat the Hawks, right? That's what I'm guessing. The Magic are going to beat the Hawks,
What do you think the line is for that? The
like
spread.
Magic by 2.5, pretty low.
It's even more. Magic by 5.
Oh wow. Well then, to that point, then I mean the Magic have the number one defense in the last
Mm-hmm.
15 games, and they're going against the
They have the number 2
Cavs.
defense
Who?
in the season behind the Thunder.
Where are the Cavs offense? See, okay, I'm looking at this efficiency landscape thing, and the Cavs are pretty mid. I mean, they're obviously great offensively, but they're pretty mid defensively. And I know they have Mobley, but
It's
I
just
don't
as
think
of
they get it
late.
done in.
I think they've
Yeah,
been missing some
yeah.
guys. I think that they're gonna come out with full force. But I mean,
They
we
also
took
have been resting people too because they knew they already had the number one seed
okay.
locked up.
I said Thunder in 4, so I'm gonna say Cavs in 5. So if you just want to say that too, that's fine.
Yeah, okay, I'm good with that. Pacers Bucks.
Okay,
Please
dude.
let me guess the line on this because this is. Are you seeing that it says
Yes,
33% of? That's
we're on
ridiculous.
the NBA Pick'em website. I swear to God, people that are just filling it out are just following which players they know. So they're picking Giannis and Jokic without understanding that their teams are objectively worse. But sure, you want to guess what's the money line for the
Okay, the money line should be. I'm assuming that FanDuel has a better sense than the average casual fan. I'm guessing that it's Pacers by it's probably Pacers minus 135, 140.
minus 200?
Holy, okay, wow. Well, I was already gonna pick Pacers in 5. Now I'm definitely picking Pacers in 5.
It's actually interesting. You can also look at series spread. So like if you win like 4-2, you win by 2 games. The series spread is Pacers by 1.5. So anyway,
Meaning,
so like you can either so like it's possible the Pacers win 4-3, or they could win 4-2 or 4-1, and so you could bet on them not winning in 7, but winning in 6, 5, or 4, because that's how
ah,
confident it is. So,
again, please don't bet if you just be
eh,
careful.
yeah.
These are crazy bets to make in the NBA.
The Pacers are so much better than the Bucks right now, and I understand how good Giannis is, and I could regret this, but I'm picking the Pacers, and I will go 6.
I'm sticking with 5. I think Giannis does one crazy game at home, game 3 probably, and then they'll be refs. But
You
I
know
could see
what?
6 as well.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'll go with 6. I'll give them 2 games of credit, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Knicks Pistons. This is also hard. I don't know how it's 80-20 for the Knicks Pistons. I think they're criminally underrating the Pistons. I still think the Knicks are going to win, but
I mean,
not by
this is
that
a pretty
much.
big blowout. What do you think the series odds are? This is the
Okay.
final one.
Um, probably Knicks by probably Knicks minus 190, maybe upwards
No,
of
bro, it's
200.
way more than that.
Okay, wait. 270.
460. Look, dude,
What?
obviously you and I like to give credit to the Pistons, but you got to
Yeah.
understand the fact that the Knicks are just way better in the regular season, and regard we just need to stop overanalyzing sometimes and realize how good the Knicks team is, and like you can't just say they're going to get knocked out of the first round. Like, come
Okay.
on.
Well, okay.
The
I'm gonna
Pistons
say
have
Knicks
no
and
playoff experience or a very minimal playoff experience. And Cade, I trust in the man, but is he really going to upset New York, Madison Square Garden playoffs in the first round of his career? Like, ooh.
yeah. Okay. Knicks and 5. Is that fair?
Knicks and
Are
I
you
would
talking the
give
Knicks and 5 or 4, right?
uh honestly, you could say Knicks and 6. The series spread though is
Yeah.
-2.5, which means it is most likely 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. -2.5. Okay. Yeah, I understand. So I'm
So
I'm sticking with 5.
Knicks and 5. Okay, that's fine.
And this one's pretty a no-brainer. Celtics and I you could honestly say 4 here.
This is Celtics and 4 for me.
Yeah, I'll go with it. Okay, let's go reverse order. Let's start with the Celtics Knicks 3-2. This sounds like an amazing game
This is
or
a great
amazing
series, but I
series.
think that the Celtics are wrapping this up pretty easily, and
Yeah.
I think there's not really a big challenge for us on this corner of the bracket with these potential 4 teams or 5 teams. But yeah, not much to say here. The Celtics should have this one, so I'm going Celtics in um 5 or 6. I'm trying to decide. I'll go with Celtics in 6.
Oh, you I'm more optimistic about y'all. I was thinking Celtics in 5.
All right, great. I wanted to do that, but I didn't want to sound too confident, so let's do that.
Okay, Cavs Pacers. Now this is one that I could see going. There was a I'm trying to remember which year. It might have been the year that the Cavs won the whole thing. And they had a really great matchup with the Pacers before Paul George left. And it went to game 7. It was like a huge thing. I can't remember if it was in the conference finals or the semis right now, but it was a great game. And I think regardless of which team wins this, I'm inclined to think that this will be at least a game 6. I don't think there's a way that the Cavs win this in 5.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree. And yeah, I know what you're talking about. That was the 2017 playoffs
Yes,
with
yes.
LeBron versus PG. But yeah, uh this is going to be I think the Cavs are going to make their way through this one, but I've seen some accounts say that the Pacers are not to be messed with, and but honestly, though, I just don't really think that they're going to repeat the magic that they created last year. And I think that the Cavs deserve the respect of at least putting them in the conference finals. So I
Mm.
wanted to have Cavs Celtics. I think that's just the right choice. So let's do Cavs. But how many games? 6?
I put 6. I think 6 is safe. I don't think it'll take all the way to 7, but the Pacers are going to win at least 2 games.
All
I
right,
don't
let's
see
do
a
that.
way that I'm sure they win at least 2 of the home games. Um, in fact,
Okay,
I don't even think it'd be crazy to say that they would win like the first game randomly and like shock the world, and then the Cavs kind of win most of the rest of it.
right. Yeah, honestly I totally see. I see the Pacers stealing game 1 and then the Cavs storming back. Um, but yeah, now we got Lakers Warriors, which you already know the NBA would be salivating at their mouths to put LeBron versus Curry and Luca and Draymond and Jimmy Butler all over ABC. So
I actually don't know what to pick here. I I feel like the safe bet is Lakers in 5. Okay, no, maybe Lakers in
no.
7. Maybe Lakers in. My heart is saying Lakers are gonna win, even though I want the Warriors so badly to like just. I want Steph to just go in and just prove everybody wrong, but I think that they'll probably at this point be outclassed.
I don't know.
But I don't know. This is a top. This is a complete toss up. This would definitely be the best matchup besides the actual finals. I think
I
it
think
doesn't get any more classic than this.
I think you might be right. I think the Warriors, despite the fact that we haven't seen them for very long, are just so good, and I think their defense is so good, and I think that with the addition of Jimmy and the improvement of guys like AirPods and the rise of Curry and hopefully Dre in the playoffs, like there's people I know. I've seen at least 2 guys I follow on YouTube who have the Warriors in the finals. like two different guys. Like it's not a crazy thing to say that this team is going to go that far, like that far.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it depends how much you trust LeBron and Luka, which is in AR in their first year, however, with no depth. Or sorry, no, their depth is okay, but no size. That's what I meant. Like
Yeah.
they have a really big problem. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of small ball matchups in this series. So
That makes me want to pick the Warriors in 7 because we know that they flourish in that type of offense and that
yeah,
type of matchup.
I think that's fine. I think it's fair to pick the Warriors. I don't think you have to even feel bad about it.
But
It's
it would
going to
have
be
to be in
tough.
7.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Warriors in 7. That would be a amazing series, and I think we'll probably redo the bracket in like 2 weeks after we get to watch a few of the first round games because if the Lakers are that good, then I'm just gonna pick the Lakers. But yeah,
Thunder Clippers. How do we pick this one? I almost want to say Clippers in like 7, but I know it's like probably not going to happen. I think I'm disrespecting the Thunder a
don't
lot.
overthink it, dude. The Thunder are so unbelievably good. I know
I'm
that the Clippers are the hottest team in the NBA, but the Thunder have had the best defense and second or third best offense all season, and the Clippers, they're getting there, but um, I think the well, I mean, you could argue that the Clippers might want it more because they're older and they have more experience and all, but the Thunder are so historically dominant that I'm just picking them. I'm not really thinking twice.
So we got a 1 potentially 7 matchup in the Western Conference Finals. This is flashes back to. Isn't it crazy how we're getting back to the same teams in the same positions? Wasn't it Thunder versus Warriors and then Cavs versus Celtics in the year that LeBron took the Cavs on their victory? I want to say it was against the Isaiah Thomas led Celtics. Is that crazy to say it's the same teams?
Um, the 2016 East Finals, I don't think that was the Celtics. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, that wasn't the
Oh,
Celtics. It was the Raptors.
it was the Raptors. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
right, though. It was obviously Thunder Warriors because the Thunder were winning 3-1 and the Warriors came back.
It was the first bang from Mike Breen, right?
No.
First double bang.
No,
First
no,
double
no,
bang.
no, no, no. You got your history mixed up. That was just in a regular season game.
What? The double bang was in the regular season? Okay, we all know the logo 3 we're talking about, right?
Yes. But
Yes. Okay, 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 okay.
okay, quick history lesson for the people at home. By the way, would you pick the Thunder in over the Clippers?
5.
I'm
Am
going
I
6.
not giving respect? Oh, I can go 4. I
What,
think I'm just trying to be too safe.
dude? I
What?
said
You think
I said 6. You want to do
Oh,
Thunder and 4? Okay, you know what? Thunder
hey.
and 5. Thunder and 5.
Perfect, perfect. That's what the difference. Okay, and then this one, I think this one you could say Thunder in 6. I think the Warriors could take them pretty far.
Yeah, I'm going Thunder and 6. It's pretty tough. I love the Thunder team though. I know I have friends, our friend Adrian hates the Thunder and I know a lot of people don't want to see Shade succeed, but like just give respect to how good this team is and
Could you imagine if he hits a
they're
free throw and that's how they win?
they are NBA championship favorites. They most likely will make the finals. We don't know how big of a problem that inexperience is going to be, but they're really well equipped to match up against any team. I think Hartenstein versus, Zubac could be a good matchup. Um, but yeah, I'm taking the Thunder. Oh,
Okay, so we
anyway,
have
we're,
Thunder
we're
and the.
talking about the
Oh,
Warriors. I'm sorry, I didn't even mention that, but yeah, Warriors versus Thunder. I think I just have to watch some games that they've played previously this season a bit more, but I would still take the Thunder.
yeah. Yeah, you have him 6. I have him 6.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. All right, so we have Cavs versus your Celtics. This is hard. I'm inclined to trust the Celtics here. Again, it would have to be in 7, but I I almost want. I feel like the Cavs are gonna. How far did the Cavs make it last year? I'm remembering.
They made it to the second round after beating the Magic, and then they lost.
The Pacers, right?
Yes, they lost to the. No, wait, no. They lost to the Celtics, I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
lost
The
to the Celtics.
the Pacers
Okay,
beat the Knicks.
that's right. That's right. Okay,
Now
this
that
one's
that Cavs team is not comparable to this Cavs team because of their
right.
slightly retooled roster and their new coach.
So Ramsey, I might have to go Cavs in 7. but I don't want
Don't
to.
do it.
I want to pick the Celtics. Okay, then I won't. Okay, all right, fine.
Look,
Celtics.
I can give you pretty solid advice. Okay, first of all, I just want to say the Celtics are way more likely to make it out of their 4-team group. Like the Cavs have harder competition against the Pacers potentially, I think.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and the Magic, Hawks, Bulls, Heat medley.
yeah, sure, bro. Um, Shout out the Bulls, but the Cavaliers obviously they haven't been here before. I think it's much more likely with guys like D Mitch and Emob, who was such a good player, like to have some slightly disappointing moments in a game, 4 in the NBA East Finals in TD Garden, and where he just can't perform well, and Porzingis is the X factor that we need, and obviously the Celtics and the Cavs split their season series 2-2, and this would be an incredible matchup. This is the matchup most fans want, and I am confidently picking the Celtics, though, and I obviously am biased, and so it's hard for people to listen and take me seriously. But our ceiling is obviously the championship, and in order to do it, we need to make it through this team. And I just think that hopefully we're a consistent 3-point shooting team. We have more reliable performances out of Tatum and Brown and Pritchard, and if we get playoff Holiday back and Horford, who can neutralize a lot of big guys, like Horford is the playoff stopper for guys like Emob and Allen, and so
Yeah,
and obviously the
the
Cavs.
depth is there.
Right. But the Cavs literally traded for DeAndre Hunter in the middle of the season because they were like, we're not good enough. We need another wing defender to stop Jalen and Jason in the playoffs because they won it bad. And so if you pick the Cavs, you can. But I am so confident about these Celtics that I'm taking them to the finals.
Okay, so we have the Thunder versus the Celtics in the finals. This would
Yeah,
be
that's
an
a shocker.
incredible matchup.
Wait,
I mean,
Celtics,
this
Cavs, what'd you pick in what?
Celtics in 7,
Okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
but I would almost argue that it's closer to 6 if I had to guess.
Thunder
Um,
Celtics, man. This is the most likely, like most bet. This is the easy way out, honestly, for the playoffs, like finals. But it just makes sense.
I okay. Here's what I think. I'm gonna pick the Thunder here.
Hmm.
I'm gonna pick the Thunder because they've been the historically best team in the league all year. They're just too good, and like you just have said, don't overthink it. Like we could go into the what ifs of if the Celtics could do this, and if the Celtics could do that, and if this can happen. But the overwhelming thought in my head is that the Thunder are gonna win. And if I pick the Thunder, which is what I'm planning on doing, I'm gonna pick them to win in 6. I think if the Celtics were to win, it would have to go to Game 7 because they would need all 3 home games and they need to steal one. I think the Thunder can get it done in 6.
I didn't want to get to this part in the pod. I have been dreading it. Um, I want my Celtics to win the championship so badly. I loved the feeling, and I just watched my Gators win the championship, and so I'm truly blessed as a sports fan and a basketball fan to get to watch my two favorite teams win within a year of each other. And I would be unbelievably blessed again to get a back-to-back Celtics chip. And I think the Celtics are better prepared to go back-to-back than past champions have been, like the Nuggets, for example, who lost a lot of their roster immediately after the chip. Um, but with that said, this is totally like if the Celtics don't make it that far, if they fall short slightly, I won't be too upset. The Thunder are really good. Really
They're
good.
really good.
So for the Dagger official bracket, do we have the Thunder or the Celtics? Is it just
I'm
two?
thinking the Thunder in 6. Or we just don't tell anybody what we did in the picking.
Oh man. Um, for my personal bracket, obviously I'm gonna pick the Celtics to win the championship. Obviously, we picked the Gators to win March Madness, and hey, look, that paid off. Why can't it pay off again, Rajan? You don't trust me?
The Thunder are going to win, dude. Shea's going to get the MVP, and it's going to be a statue of him shooting a free throw.
What a hater you are. Um, okay, fine. We will pick the Thunder, but I'm not happy about it. Thunder
So in
in
6 or 7?
between 6-7. I'm going Thunder in 7 because I can't do that to my Celtics.
No, I'm going in 6. but it's gonna be an amazing playoff. This has to be one of the best, most exciting playoffs in a long time for me, at least. I can't remember a year since like the Warriors dynasty where I was so excited to see all of these matchups in every single round. Like
Mhm.
to think that you already talked about this, but to think that the Warriors would be on a resurgence tour and make it to the Western Conference Finals that we have them in right now, to think that the Lakers are going to get beat by them. We have the Clippers beating the Nuggets. Like what? And then we have like we thought Giannis Dame would be like a super combo. That we had the Pacers beating them. Like this just feels like one of the coolest. So many great matchups. Lakers Timberwolves, Rockets versus Warriors, like young versus old. Like it this is going to be amazing. I'm just excited as a pure basketball fan to just be able to turn on the TV every single night and just watch.
I'm really excited too. It's gonna be a fun next few months. This is always my favorite part of the NBA season. I mean, obviously, but
Of
yeah,
course.
I think our bracket looks pretty strong. I wouldn't change much about it myself, except biasly having this guy on my shirt winning the chip. But yeah, we'll be coming at you over the next couple months with more episodes analyzing the playoffs and changing our predictions and talking about crazy performances. And so we can't wait for all future episodes of The Dagger, which, by the way, you can listen to as you are right now on Spotify or YouTube. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter, X, and yeah, I guess that's it for our preliminary NBA pod. So as we wrap up our school year, we'll get ready to talk more about it over the summer. But yeah,
Absolutely. We'll
anything
see
else,
you guys in
Rajan?
the next one. I think that's it.
All right, see you guys next week. Have a good night. Bye bye, or good day. Oh, whatever, whenever y'all listening. Cut. Bye.